Hello, Gemini. This is Michelle, and I'm here to do your August 2021 tarot reading. We're using some interesting cards this month. I will use the Tarocchino Bolognese by Giuseppe Maria Mitelli, a deck reproduced by Il Meneghello, and it was originally from the 1660s. All right, very interesting. So actually prior to the time that tarot cards were used for divination, and so it probably originally would have been used only for game playing. However, it could have been one of the first decks used in tarot divination. So that should be interesting. And then also the tarot Florentine Minchiate, a Leone from 1790 Italy. Now this deck would have been in print during the time that divination was just starting with tarot cards. And because there are also astrology cards in it and element cards and other things like that, perhaps it was used for that, and also as a game. This is a reproduction of, you can see like a block print style deck. Almost looks like it was stamped. And so probably used by maybe people of a more common class, and they were probably not as expensive and mass produced, let's say, more easily than the very expensive hand painted type or hand drawn decks. So this should be interesting, an interesting contrast between the two decks as well. All right, so this is for the sign of Gemini. My Gemini friends, what are the messages that we need to know for the sign of Gemini? All right, let's take a look. All right, we are starting off with the Fool. All right, very interesting to see. I'm picking up some gaiety here, which is beautiful. Some liveliness. Perhaps you are finally, or maybe not finally, but for those of you that haven't been able to get out and do things, I should say, because of the pandemic restrictions, perhaps you're just now getting out, or you have been getting out this summer and just livening things up. And now we have the World. Okay, interesting. And we can see with this World, we don't have a lady in the middle, but rather an angel on top, which is interesting to see. All right. Some of you, I think, could actually, perhaps you want to do some travel, I'm picking up, and maybe that's on the list, but there are potentially some restrictions there. And now we have Judgment coming in. All right, now this is suddenly taking on a much deeper tone because now we have three major arcana coming through for you, Gemini. Okay, and so a calling, the sense of a calling coming in, or the need to fulfill something, by a certain timeline is what I'm picking up, and the Three of Rods. All right. And so I think that for some of you, there has been some growth, good for you, regarding something that you have started. It could have been pre-pandemic, actually, even like something that you started, and somehow you've managed to keep your spirits up about this and to continue following your calling and getting things done, even with this, we might say, almost like extended timeline. That could also be the situation, like things being drawn out. I really wanted to have this thing done by, the end of 2021, and now it looks like it's going to take longer. Despite that, you have kept your spirits up. And the reverse could also be true. I'm picking that up, that perhaps things didn't go as quickly. Nonetheless, either scenario is telling me that you are keeping your spirits up and moving ahead. Okay. And actually, I want to correct myself because I think I just repeated the same point twice. The other point that was coming up for some of you, if you're resonating, is the sense that time could be running out. Okay. But in either case, whether time is running out or it feels like it's running very slowly, I see you keeping your spirits up. And we have the Queen of Cups coming in. All right, just really to back up that notion, beautiful to see. And the Two of Cups, all right? So that is I'm very happy to see that. I am picking up for some of the Gemini people that you either have a supportive relationship that has been of help to you or people that have been of help to you. And if that's not the case, you can find that someone is coming in. All right, so the tarot is suggesting that someone may be coming in that will be helpful for you in an emotional sense, like lifting your spirits. They could also be somebody that you just resonate with, like you're both kind of on the same frequency. I'm picking up the idea that when you are both together, you generate energy. All right. And so a person of this sort could be coming in for you. And I think, again, so I'm going to say it's because you have been maintaining this positive attitude despite all of the difficulties. Now, is that positive 100% of the time? No dips? Well, no, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not being unrealistic. But I'm saying that much of the time, anyways, maybe some of you are 100%. Let me know in the comments if you can. That would be a great affirmation. Yes, I am Gemini and I am 100% positive. Okay? Because we need that energy in the world today. But what I'm saying is a great portion of the time, what I'm picking up is this positive energy that you are putting out, and it is going to attract people of a similar nature. We have the Chariot coming in, showing great accomplishments. And so, I mean, no wonder you're feeling like, or you might be feeling like, you want things to proceed perhaps a little bit more quickly, because you've done the work. I mean, the foundation is there, and the growth is taking place. It might just be further along down the road had things not sort of happened the way that they did. But that is the scenario that lots of folks are facing right now. I mean, the difference here in this reading is your attitude. The Six of Rods also showing a great deal of patience. I think you're waiting. I think you feel like you might be kind of a little bit in a holding position. And now we have the Queen of Rods coming in, all right? So suggesting that, again, this sense of wanting to get back to your core energy, right? And so I'm picking this up. I feel that some of the Geminis that you have been handling this whole situation just beautifully, you have found ways to get yourself back to your core. And if that's not the case for you, then that can be something to brainstorm on or journal about or talk to somebody about. I don't feel like I'm my real self. That's not really how the reading is leaning, but this is a general reading, so I'm just bringing that possibility up. I'm not feeling my real self, my really, spontaneous, kind of excited self about things. And what can I do to bring back that energy? It's just so important for you, Gemini, because that's where I think you tap into your core. And now we have the Nine of rods coming in, which is a really actually beautiful to see because this has a message in it about completion. So even though, and look at this, we have the 3, the 6, and now the 9 coming in at the end of the reading, saying not to worry and to continue on, continue fighting the good fight. Continue to rejuvenate your spirit and your soul because you are going to reach that conclusion and that finish line that you had been planning on all along. All right, now the Tarocchino, I'm going to show you some of these cards because we're only picking 5. And so I want to just show you a few of them. For example, this is Strength. And the cards are a lot different than what we expect to see in a tarot deck. This is Justice, we can see. Sometimes we can only tell by certain symbols. For example, this is the Tower. We can see the arrow coming down. Really interesting deck. Here are the coins. All right, so the coins having people in them and other things. Let me see if I can find another, just like a few more interesting ones. Okay, let's see. This is Temperance. Okay, we have Temperance here. That one we can see right away because of the jars and the liquid going between. All right, and this one is the Star, right? You would think it would be the Hermit, but it's the Star. Okay, so truly it's not a deck review, but I know I'm only picking 5, and so I wanted to show you a few cards of what this deck is actually like. Okay, so now I am picking cards for my Gemini friends. We're going to pick 5 cards. Oh my goodness. And it is the 10 of coins, which is just always beautiful to see in a reading. One of the most positive cards in the deck, also reinforcing the idea that there is a conclusion coming in for Gemini. You are going to get there. Let's continue on. And now we have the 9 of Swords. Okay, quite common actually in my readings this month thus far. Okay, 9 of Swords. Now let's keep in mind too, there are no 2s through 5s in this deck. All right, no 2s through 5s. And so we will see more court cards, potentially an ace or some of the higher cards, 6 and above. Here is the King of Coins. Okay, interesting. And somewhat similar to some of the tarot cards that perhaps we're used to seeing, because there's the king at the table there. So that's something that sometimes we see. I'm thinking of Cat Black's deck, and the Golden Tarot, I believe she has a king at a table like that. And so some interesting themes. All right, 2 more cards for my Gemini friends. And now we have the 9 of Rods. Now this is interesting, or we might say clubs, because it is now a double, a repeat, because we also got the 9 of Clubs for you in this Celtic Cross, and so this is doubly emphasized. Okay, so I'm very happy to see that. And look at the 9s. We're talking about three 9s thus far. One more card for my Gemini friends. One more card for my Gemini friends. Here we go. Oh my goodness. And it is the Knight of Coins. The Knight of Coins. Okay. All right. So I'm just hoping that you can see these cards, all right? It's a little bit different of a setup for me. Okay, so the Tarocchino is saying to me, for you to have no doubts that you are absolutely heading towards accomplishment, the achievement of your goals, and a positive conclusion. I feel it has to do with career and work, as many of my Gemini readings do tend to run that way. Again, we did have the cups information coming in, so there is some relationship energy coming in that looks very positive, some support for you to really boost your spirit. Okay, somebody that gets you and resonates with you along those lines. This all kind of focuses, though, I think, into this idea about completing a big accomplishment. And you definitely are going to get there with this 10 coming in to your reading. This is really, I want to say the word accomplishment is really coming through. And we get the sense, if I'm just holding this up so that you can look at these little images. It's really a fun card because it just kind of reminds me of like a Renaissance man, or like the man of all seasons, the man that can do everything is coming through. Or we could say, well, because they're all men in this deck, I should say person, anybody, or it seems like they are. But we have the painter and the sculptor and the musician and the dancer and the hunter and the gymnast. And so all these different activities going on, it just shows a very well-rounded person, and it speaks of accomplishment. I mean, in this time period too, you as an accomplished person would have been skilled in all these areas, let us say. And so the word accomplishment is coming through for me, and the nines suggesting to me, first of all, I want to say strength of mind to reach your conclusion. Now, I know that doesn't go along with the typical reading for the Nine of Swords, but we have the Nine of Clubs here, or batons, we might say. We have the Nine of Clubs here as well twice. And so this is telling me that you are going to reach a conclusion. Everything is going to be wrapped up. You see these kind of like bows tying everything together. You have a very strong foundation that you have put in place. Everything is connected beautifully, and it's going to go off without a hitch, is what I'm hearing. It is going to go off without a hitch. I think that you have been keeping your mind focused on the future. However, with this Knight coming in, again, that same theme coming through about being focused, being very focused, we can see in one direction, but feeling like sometimes you're being pulled off in another. Okay, and I do think this is circumstantial. I don't feel that it has to do with you being distracted. I feel that it has to do with the circumstances. And so all in all, to conclude, I just want to say, Gemini, you've done a phenomenal job of remaining positive throughout this entire situation. And I'm very happy to see that there's a potential for relationship, either a relationship or relationships coming in that are going to help you to feel even better. Gemini, that's your reading for August 2021. It is a pleasure and a privilege to read for you as always, and I'll see you next time.